It's Volodymyr Zelenskyy. The Ukraine president has been the face of democracy since Russia's invasion began. He's known for his daily video updates about the war in his country and the ongoing conflict that continues to unfold. Joining us now is the executive editor of Time, Ben Goldberger. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
Great to be with you all. Good morning.
All right, so Ben, we were trying to figure out who it could be. I figured Elon Musk was so last year that was not going to happen again, right? So
he had a big year, and
he had a good year. We were talking about him the whole year, right, Ben?
I actually think when we choose Person of the Year, we aim for it not to just be retrospective, but ideally recognize someone's influence will continue to grow. In the case of Musk, I feel pretty good about that choice last year.
So Volodymyr Zelenskyy, solid choice, not controversial. Let's face it, the magazine wants somebody buzzy.
And you don't think he is? You know, we talked about this, and some years the choice is incredibly hard. It's contentious. There's remarkable division within the staff. You realize that it could be any number of people, and there isn't an obvious candidate. We recognize that this year, Zelenskyy and the spirit of Ukraine, who were our choice for Person of the Year this year, were probably the betting favorite, but that doesn't make them the wrong choice. If anything, it was time to embrace that they were so obviously the correct choice, that he and the millions of others in the country and outside of it who mobilized to this cause were so clearly the definitional story of the year, so clearly the most influential Person of the Year, that it was silly to run in another direction simply because people might have expected this one.
But it is interesting because you do pick this person based on their, how they've changed the world for good or for bad. So you probably had some people on both sides of the aisle in terms of this wasn't, he didn't do a lot of good things or he did a lot of great things. Like there's some controversy with that still.
Absolutely. The Person of the Year is not an honor or an award, even though it's taken that way by certain people, including certain former presidents. But influence is not inherently positive or negative. I will say that in the case of Zelenskyy, it is a pretty positive influence. While there is very valid criticism, especially within Ukraine, of how he governs and his administration, his decision to stay in the country, to rally people, not to leave, like so many of his predecessors and other world leaders around the world would have, is unquestionably the reason that Ukraine still exists as we know it today. And not only that, but Kyiv didn't fall within 3 days as predicted by U.S. intelligence. It's why there's not a McDonald's in Red Square anymore. It's why the entire sort of democratic world has mobilized behind this cause and seen it as a larger existential battle between the forces of democracy against the forces of autocracy.
I think a better title, which you also have on this list here, is Heroes of the Year, which you gave to the women of Iran, especially after the death of Masha Amini. I think this is a great way to really focus on these women that are going through struggles and have been ferociously fighting this for years, even before the death of this young woman.
Well, that's right, and you said it perfectly. And the reason that the women of Iran are our heroes of the year is that they have been resisting in ways large and small, public and private, the theocratic regime for decades now. And this moment, which really feels like it's generating substantive change and may finally be the crack that eventually topples the regime, is thanks entirely to the remarkably courageous work of the women and girls in that country.